Hello and welcome back to another exciting installment of North Middlesex Music. I'm super attractive senior news correspondent Nathan Spiegel.
And I'm spunky female co-anchor Miranda Smith. It is our goal here in the North Middlesex TV studio to bring you news about the various events in which the music department partakes in throughout the year.
Before we begin with the show proper, we here at the studio want to remind the viewers that everything on this show is run by high school musicians.
Recently, the marching band held its band banquet in celebration of the close of another great season. After having one of the best marching band seasons in several years, the attendance level at the December 1st banquet was nearly twice that of any previous banquets. Several awards were given out to outstanding members of the band, and the leadership crew for next year's marching band was also announced. The drum major for next year will be the ever-amazing guy who created and also happens to direct this show, Richard Cuoco. The two assistant drum majors will be Anastasia Kalopoulos and Matt White.
With marching band at an end, both of the jazz bands as well as the winter percussion ensemble began rehearsals in November. In recent years, the North Middlesex jazz bands have performed magnificently, receiving a number of awards at various festivals across the state.
Although winter percussion is a recent addition to the band program, as of last year, our directors are enthusiastic and hopeful about the group's future performances, expecting a good year for the program. Their first competition is on February 18th.
On November 19th, the MMEA Senior High School Central District auditions were held here at North Middlesex. The auditions are a way for students to show their musical talents in a direct comparison with their peers. The Tri-M Music Honor Society students did an excellent job coordinating the event. Of those who competed, the best of the best were given the opportunity to audition for all state ensembles. Those auditions took place on January 21st.
Several North Middlesex students auditioned, and many made the cut. Among those who made it were Katie Alfon on bassoon, Clarice Nealon on clarinet, and Lara Macrianis on tuba. The following student also made it and received all-state recommendations. They are Joe Clark on clarinet, Taylor Thompson on bass clarinet, Kevin Brulette on oboe, Mitchell Sugar on bass clarinet, Dave Flournoy on bassoon, Devin Valancourt on snare drum, Kaylee Collada on viola, and our wonderful director, Richard Cuoco, on French horn.
Of the students that auditioned for the All-State Festival, 4 were entered into the ensemble. They are Dave Flournoy, Taylor Thompson, Joe Clark, and of course, as mentioned by Miranda, our wonderful director, Richard Cuoco. There are also several students from the choir that participated in the district festival. Among them were Ryan Conway, who does a great Kermit the Frog impression and is a big fan of Nicki Minaj, Julia Overheiser, and Emily Francis. Also getting in with all-state recommendations were Nick Adami-Sampson, Kelly Murphy, and Tyler Burns.
Kelly Murphy and Tyler Burns were both accepted into All-State. Congratulations to all those students that auditioned. In other news, during the last couple months, all the bands and choirs from grades 4 through 12 participated in holiday concerts. They all went very well and the community really enjoyed them.
Due to the large musical interests at the North Middlesex Regional High School, the jazz band is run a bit differently than other high schools. To accommodate for the sheer number of students that wish to participate in the jazz program, it is split up into an A band and a B band. While the A band is usually reserved for the older, more experienced musicians, the B band is also a great place that the less experienced musicians can have the experience of playing in a jazz ensemble. In fact, some of the musicians from the A band also play alternate instruments in the B band, which is a great way of expanding one's musical horizon.
Both jazz bands always receive awards at their competitions. And now we're going to show you a great example of the jazz band's skills by showing a clip of the A band performing at the MAJE Festival Finals in April of last year. The song is Esperanto by Doug Beach.
My gosh, who is that bass trombone player? He should be given an award.
Moving on, it's time for our featured musicians section of the show. And in this portion, we'll talk about a few selected band and chorus students that are recognized for their talents. So we'll start the show off with Matt White, I believe, and here's Spiegel with some information on him.
So up first is Matt White, currently a sophomore at North Middlesex Regional High School. The groups here at the school he performs in, I believe, are the Wind Symphony, the Marching Band, and also the Jazz Band A. His musical accomplishments, as we mentioned earlier, assistant drum major for next year's marching band. His goals in the musical world, he wants to audition for the MMEA Central District Festival next year and play throughout college. His academic accomplishments, honor roll student, very, very nice. And extracurricular activities include the New Orleans Service Learning Trip, mock trial, National Honor Society, student council, and student representative to the school committee.
Up next, also in band, we have Sarah Carter, and she has played clarinet in marching band and in wind symphony, plays bass drum in winter percussion ensemble, and also plays clarinet in a quartet with 3 other NM students. And in years past, she has played tenor sax in jazz band. Her musical goals just include she wants to keep music a part of her life after she graduates, and for extracurricular activities, she's a part of the Triumph Music Honor Society, the National Honor Society, National Junior Classical League, Latin Club, and she's been a Girl Scout for 13 years.
Wow, 13 years. That shows real commitment right there. A real Girl Scout. Up next is Tyler Burns in 11th grade here at the school. He is a member of the Advanced Voice Group, one of the more experienced choirs at the school. His musical accomplishments include that he made the MMEA Central District Festival for the past 3 years straight. He's also been accepted into the All-State Ensemble for the past 2 years. His musical goals include pursuing a professional career in singing, and his academic accomplishments. He won the Vocal Performance Award at the Underclassmen Awards Ceremony last year. His extracurricular activities include drama, Latin Club, and he is employed at Rainbow Childcare, just down the street.
That's a lot of talent right there. All right. Up next, we have Marina Scheid, a sophomore and also a member of the choir. She performs with the Advanced Voice Group, actually, along with Tyler, and the Women's Choir. And she also sings at a cafe on Friday nights. Her musical goals are simply to strengthen her voice and use it to bring others happiness. It's wonderful. Extracurricular activities, she takes art classes, piano lessons, and photography classes. Very well-rounded liberal arts student we have on the way here. Next, we have 3 special guests from the Winter Percussion Ensemble. We have my co-anchor, Nathan Spiegel, and 2 of our cameramen, Aaron Taylor and Justin Marple. And they're going to be talking about that group that has been working so hard recently. I think I'll address Aaron first, so why don't you give us a little detail about what winter percussion actually is?
Well, winter percussion is an ensemble that allows the percussion students to expand their horizons by playing in a group that focuses mainly on percussion. Most of the year, percussion students have to stand in the back of the orchestra playing a bunch of drum instruments and a whole bunch of really quieter and less respected instruments, while the rest of the band gets to tutor around on their instruments. So this allows them the chance to perform and show everybody what they're skilled of and what they are talented at, and without the interference of a huge orchestra in front of them.
But as I've gathered, it's not just percussion students, like even wind instruments can get in on this.
It is not just percussion students, because we wouldn't have enough percussion students to make a full ensemble. So anyone who would like to learn a new percussion instrument can join. For instance, last year I picked up the cymbals and play the cymbals. Nathan himself plays bass guitar. We have a bunch of new people in Pitt who started to learn marimbas and stuff because they're similar to pianos. So we do have a lot of non-percussion students, but most of them are percussion students.
Excellent. And Spiegel, while I've in the marching band and winter percussion programs, I know Larry Huff was working with the battery line, but I heard we have a new percussion instructor working with us this year.
This recent, after the last winter percussion season, Larry, retired and moved down to Florida with the rest of them golden oldies. And so now we have his close friend Barry, which is always confusing, like Larry Barry, you know. But anyways, Barry Powell, he's this he's very serious but very, very good at what he does, and he makes us do push-ups when we mess up, and it's rather humiliating, but you know, we learn our lesson. Anyways, he's been working with us a lot, and he's really made a lot of people improve, and the whole group improve as a whole. So overall, Barry has been a great asset to the winter percussion program.
Excellent. And I know the marching band visits a lot of competitions, and that's what they really get ready for all season. Is winter percussion like that?
Yeah, the main goal of the winter percussion program is the competitions. I think this year we have 4 competitions plus finals, and basically the more competitions you do, the later you go on in the subsequent competitions. So it's always nice to go on last, because you're always going to the judges or the audience will always remember the last one in their head, because no one's going to remember the first one. So yeah, we're doing 4 plus finals. Finals is obviously the peak of it, what we're ultimately working for and hoping to do well this year. Last year we came 4th in our division, but this year we're hopefully looking to jump it up a few notches.
So, Justin, way down on the end there. So winter percussion, the title kind of suggests, you know, there's going to be a lot of hitting of things going on, but exactly what kind of instrumentation do we have going on here?
It's split into 2 main ensembles, which is the battery and the pit, which the battery is made up of bass drums, snare drums, toms, cymbals, which march around on the floor into formations to create cymbals and shapes, while the pit is made up of vibraphones, xylophones, a bunch of mallet instruments, and other auxiliary percussion.
All right, excellent. Sounds like a very exciting experience for all you 3, and I hope that the group goes on to do very well at those 4 competitions and finals.
Okay, on the floor with us today we have our amazingly gorgeous producer, Richard Cuoco. Everybody welcome Richard. He's right here. So, hi Richard, we just want to talk to you for a little bit. You do so much for this show. First, I just want to ask you, what inspired you to create this television show?
Well, I was asked by Mrs. Azero, a teacher who worked here last year, to help out with a local access show that the principal had. Mm-hmm. And after, you know, directing and editing her show, I started thinking, I wish she talked about the music programs more, because we have a really good music department here.
Yes, agreed.
And at first I was thinking maybe I can get her to talk about the bands and the choirs, but then I
Did she not buy it?
thought
No.
I could just create my own show that's all about music.
One up, you might say.
Yeah, and
So Richard, what you're saying is you basically wanted to plug the NM music department, but what actually got you into that department in the first place? Like, what got you started on French horn?
Well, when I was 4, I started taking piano lessons, and I was always very interested in music because of that. I started taking lessons because there was a piano teacher that lived a couple houses away from me. So then when 4th grade came and I was given the opportunity to join band, I joined and I started on trumpet. And Mr. Tellier, who was on last month's episode, if you saw that, suggested that I try playing French horn. So I switched to French horn in 6th grade, and I played that throughout middle school, and then came to high school and kept on going.
And here we are today.
So one last thing, like you to answer before we leave is, what is your opinion on the outcome of this this production for the public? Do you find it a success or an epic failure?
Well, there is a lot of work that goes into it. So at first, when I first started going into the process of coming up with everything that needed to happen in order to make the show happen, I started thinking, well, what if I do all this work and then nobody ends up watching it? But that's not the case. I've heard a lot of people, my friends, teachers from the high school, teachers from the middle schools, my friends' parents, people that said they saw it online or on TV, and I was really surprised because I didn't think a lot of people watched local access TV. I mean, I knew that there were obviously some, but I didn't know that there were that many. So I thought overall it's pretty successful. There's a lot of work that goes into it. And if any of you watching this have any suggestions or any ideas or anything at all that we can add to the show, if there's anything you want to know about the music department, any questions you have, you can email me at richardcuoco@me.com, and I'll put that right here.
And that's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining us, Richard. The pleasure is mine. The man, the myth, the legend, Richard Cuoco.
That is it for today's show. To see this episode or any previous episodes of this show, go to nmrhsmusic.webs.com. Thank you.
You can also go there to learn more about the talented music students that volunteered to help out behind the cameras. Make sure you don't miss the next episode, and thanks for watching.
Stay classy, North Middlesex.
This program has been brought to you by the North Middlesex Community Outreach.